The fact of the matter is, what does Kyrie Irving do exactly? What are people trying to say? This dude is a superstar basketball player. Right now, he's averaging 37, 6, and 5 for crying out loud for the Brooklyn Nets. He shows up to the team that he wanted to play for opening night and drops 50. This brother is a showman. He puts on a show. Doesn't get in any trouble with the law or anything like that. So what's your real issue with him? Obviously, it has to emanate from his two previous destinations, when he was in Cleveland with LeBron, when he was in Boston over the last couple of years. In Cleveland, he wasn't, as you would say, Max, he wasn't trying to be the son, period. He wasn't made to be the son. He wasn't trying to be that dude, okay? That's what you're going to be that with LeBron, particularly when you're just a 6'1" guard. That's going to happen, even though his dagger over Steph Curry for that three is what delivered that championship in the Game 7, not to mention the fact that he averaged 28 and 29 in the NBA Finals the couple of years that he was there with Cleveland. Everybody forgets that. Then you go to Boston because you don't want to sit up there and have your career dictated by LeBron James, who isn't making a decision as to whether he was going to stay in Cleveland or depart for L.A. eventually, and he didn't want to be held hostage to that. So what does he do? He goes to Boston. And quickly, while he's in Boston, it's clear he's a different kind of personality. Does he get quiet, a bit introverted? Yes, he does. Does he find himself flummoxed a little bit or taken aback when things happen, like the loss of his grandfather? Of course he does. Opening night when he drops 50 and takes off his jersey and hugs his dad. Obviously, these are things. This guy is not just about basketball. There are other things that are affecting him. That's clear. But to sit up there and to act like that makes him a problem is something that I find utterly ridiculous.
Question.
He hasn't been in Brooklyn for 2 damn weeks in a regular season. 2 damn weeks, and we talking about what kind of a problem. I'm not talking about us, but people are out there leaking stuff about him as if he's a problematic dude. And I'm going to get black with this.
Right.
Just because folks don't act the way you want them to act or doesn't act the way everybody else wants them to act does not make them a bad person or a problem. It might make him an individual that you have to adjust to. Go ahead, Max.
I want to ask you this because I have a specific way I want to pose this question. I'm curious about your answer. You were a Division II scholarship athlete playing basketball. You also are obviously been a member of the media for a long time, and you are African American. With that backdrop, let me ask you this. Why do you think that there seems to be a disconnect between the way guys from the locker room, like Terry Rozier will come on this show and describe Kyrie Irving, and the way credible people in the media, like Jackie MacMullan, who doesn't get better than Jackie Mac, who's sourced, obviously she's hearing these things, report this and perceive Kyrie Irving. Why that divide?
Well, first of all, let's understand something here. This has nothing to do with Jackie MacMullan, because I would have reported it if people were saying that to me about Kyrie just like she did. You're putting on your reporter's hat. This is the information that they're putting out there. It's just that I have a stronger license to editorialize to some degree because I have the national airways available to me every day. So I can take that information, report it, and then still call it BS all at the same time. Now, to answer your question directly, it's very, very simple. Black folks are labeled differently because you have people, particularly when you're an African American and you're in any kind of position of influence or power, you have people who want to reel you in and bring you under control. I'm a perfect example of that. I'm loud. I'm screaming A. I'm obnoxious. I'm this. I'm that. You know how many white people I see on TV screaming every day? Nobody calls them loud. Nobody calls them screaming whomever. And I don't want to bring up any names because I don't want to cast any aspersions on those white individuals who might be a bit loquacious and a bit loud in doing so. But the point is, they're not considered angry. They're not considered too loud. They're considered passionate and very, very into their job. I'm the person whose anger you're questioning every day. Because I'm a black man, that's why. And when you look at a guy like Kyrie Irving to go from Cleveland to Boston and now to New York, you have people that are trying to peel away at his veneer to try and not just find out who he is, but why can't he be this way? Why can't he be that way? And I'll tell you this, and I'll share this story with you, because this truly, truly happened. You have people in the 60s, for example, when Martin Luther King was talking about, and I'm not comparing him to Kyrie or anything like that, I just want to use an example to illustrate blackness as an issue in this country to this day. Martin Luther King came up there, preached about peace and nonviolence. He was hosed down. He had dogs sicked on him. He was beaten with batons, and then and he was incarcerated. Malcolm X came after and was like, oh, hell no, we ain't going for that. By any means necessary, an eye for an eye. You punch me in the face, I'm going to punch you back. You shoot at me, I'm going to shoot back. You know what those same people said? Why can't you be like Martin Luther King Jr.? So the bottom line is, what's the story? What's the moral in all of that? Sometimes it takes a rebel. Sometimes it takes a rebel in order for you to listen to the more docile, peace-loving, cerebral individuals you should have been listening to all along.
In other words,
Kyrie Irving is a different cat.
So
what? That does not make
straight.
him a bad person by any stretch.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I asked you the question. So is the point that blackness is threatening, and
yes,
there's a prescription that white mainstream has if you are black, which is you must be non-threatening, and then those people who fall into that category will be used an example to the folks that white people find more threatening than the non-threatening.
Yes.
What about Kyrie Irving is threatening to people?
I don't know. And that's the thing that's absolutely killing me because, listen, if you said that, let me tell you something, Max. If you sat there and talked to Kyrie Irving about basketball, Kyrie Irving could give you lessons. Kevin Durant could give you lessons. Sure, you can look at Kevin Durant. Some people said he's a bit sensitive. I happen to appreciate his honesty and the fact that he's willing to come and talk directly to you about how he feels as opposed to using others to disseminate a message for him. So he sits back and has plausible deniability whenever he wants to say, I didn't say that. I didn't speak to this person. That's not how I feel. When you know good and damn well you sent those people to speak on your behalf. That's not who Kevin Durant is. That's not who Kyrie Irving is. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.